What if I told you that the single most powerful medicine for your fatty liver is not in a pharmacy, it is in your kitchen right now? Doctors spend billions of dollars researching drugs to treat fatty liver disease. And yet, study after study keeps arriving at the same conclusion. Specific whole foods outperform medications when it comes to reducing liver fat, lowering inflammation, and actually regenerating damaged liver cells. In this video, I am going to give you the top 10 scientifically proven foods that heal a fatty liver, ranked by the strength of the clinical evidence behind them. I will tell you exactly how much to eat, when to eat it, and the specific mechanism by which each food repairs your liver at the cellular level. And I am going to save the most surprising one for number 7, because when most people hear what it is, they cannot believe something so simple and so affordable could have this kind of impact on liver health. If you watched my last video on the 10 warning signs of fatty liver and recognize some of those signs in yourself, this video is your next step. This is where we go from awareness to action. Let's begin. Before we get to the foods, I want you to understand something genuinely remarkable about your liver. It is the only organ in the human body that can completely regenerate itself. Your liver can lose up to 75% of its functional cells. And if the damaging conditions are removed and the right nutrients are provided, it can rebuild back to full function. No other organ can do this. Not your heart, not your kidneys, not your brain. This is both wonderful news and a word of caution. Wonderful because it means fatty liver disease, even in intermediate stages, is genuinely reversible. The caution is this: the liver's ability to regenerate is not unlimited. Once significant scarring, called fibrosis or cirrhosis, sets in, that regenerative window begins to close. This is why acting now with the right nutritional strategy is so critically important. The mechanism by which food heals fatty liver works through 4 main pathways. First, reducing hepatic fat accumulation, literally stopping more fat from being deposited in liver cells. Second, reducing oxidative stress, neutralizing the free radicals that damage liver cell membranes. Third, reducing inflammation, lowering the inflammatory signals that drive liver cell death. And fourth, supporting autophagy, your liver's cellular housekeeping system that clears out damaged components and recycles them. Every food on today's list works through one or more of these 4 pathways. Let's go through them one by one. The number 1 food on this list, and the one with the single strongest body of evidence behind it, is coffee. And gay, I know that surprises people. Coffee has been unfairly maligned for decades. But the research on coffee and liver health is now so extensive and so consistent that hepatologists, liver specialists now routinely tell their patients to drink it. A landmark meta-analysis published in the journal Alimentary Pharmacology and Therapeutics analyzed data from over 430,000 participants and found that drinking 2 or more cups of coffee per day was associated with a 44% lower risk of liver cirrhosis. That is not a small effect. That is enormous. A separate study published in the Journal of Hepatology found that regular coffee consumption was independently associated with lower liver stiffness, a direct marker of fibrosis in patients already diagnosed with NAFLD. The active compounds responsible are chlorogenic acids and other polyphenols that reduce oxidative stress in liver cells, and kawol and cafestol, diterpenes that have direct anti-inflammatory and anti-fibrotic effects on liver tissue. The evidence is strongest for regular filtered or black coffee, 2 to 3 cups per day. Heavily sweetened coffee drinks, however, are counterproductive because the added sugar directly contributes to liver fat. Black coffee, or coffee with a small amount of unsweetened milk, is what the research supports. If you are sensitive to caffeine, some of the polyphenol benefits are preserved in decaffeinated coffee, though the effect is somewhat weaker. Food number 2 is broccoli, and more broadly, the entire family of cruciferous vegetables, including cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, kale, cabbage, and bok choy. A landmark study from the University of Illinois found that mice fed a high-fat diet developed significantly less liver fat when broccoli was added to their diet. And critically, the researchers identified the mechanism. Sulforaphane, a compound released when you chew cruciferous vegetables, activates a gene called NRF2, which is essentially the master switch for your body's antioxidant defense system in the liver. In human studies, sulforaphane supplementation was shown to reduce ALT and AST levels, those liver enzymes we discussed in the last video, significantly over 12 weeks in patients with NAFLD. The key thing most people do not know is that sulforaphane is only produced when an enzyme called myrosinase comes into contact with a precursor compound called glucoraphanin. This enzymatic reaction happens when you chew raw broccoli or when lightly cooked broccoli is chewed thoroughly. Boiling broccoli for more than a few minutes destroys the myrosinase enzyme and dramatically reduces sulforaphane formation. The best preparation: steam broccoli lightly for 3 to 4 minutes or eat it raw. Aim for 1 to 2 cups daily. If you add a small amount of mustard seed powder to cooked broccoli, you can restore the myrosinase activity even after cooking. This is a well-validated trick from food science research. Food number 3 is walnuts. And among all nuts, walnuts have the most specific and a compelling research for fatty liver disease. A randomized controlled trial published in the Journal of the American College of Nutrition had NAFLD patients consume 28 grams of walnuts daily for 6 months. The result: significant reductions in liver fat, ALT, and AST compared to the control group. Walnuts work through 3 mechanisms simultaneously. First, they are the richest plant source of alpha-linolenic acid, an omega-3 fatty acid that reduces hepatic lipogenesis, the process by which the liver converts excess carbohydrates into fat. Second, they contain L-glutathione, which gut bacteria convert into urolithins, compounds with powerful anti-inflammatory effects specifically in liver tissue. Third, they are rich in arginine, an amino acid that supports the liver's detoxification of ammonia. The dose used in most studies is 28 grams, roughly a small handful, consumed daily. Raw walnuts are preferable to roasted, as heat degrades the omega-3 fatty acids. Eat them as a snack, chop them over salads, or add them to your morning oatmeal. Food number 4 is extra virgin olive oil. And I want to be precise here because regular olive oil and extra virgin olive oil have meaningfully different effects on the liver. A study published in Nutrition and Metabolism found that NAFLD patients who consumed 40 ml of extra virgin olive oil daily for 12 weeks showed significant reductions in liver enzymes and liver fat compared to those who used refined vegetable oils. The key active compound is oleocanthite, a polyphenol found only in high-quality extra virgin olive oil that has been shown to inhibit the same inflammatory pathways as ibuprofen. There is also a substantial body of evidence that oleic acid, the predominant monounsaturated fatty acid in olive oil, reduces the activity of genes responsible for de novo lipogenesis in the liver, meaning it helps switch off the liver's fat manufacturing process. The critical distinction: this research applies specifically to extra virgin olive oil, cold-pressed, minimally processed, with a robust, slightly peppery taste. Refined olive oil, labeled simply as olive oil or light olive oil, has had most of these polyphenols removed in the refining process. Use it as a finishing oil on vegetables and salads. 2 to 3 tablespoons per day as the target amount used in most beneficial studies. Food number 5 is oily fish, specifically salmon, sardines, mackerel, anchovies, and herring. These fish are the richest dietary source of long-chain omega-3 fatty acids, EPA and DHA, which have the most robust evidence of any dietary intervention for reducing liver fat. A comprehensive meta-analysis published in Gastroenterology found that omega-3 supplementation from fish oil consistently reduced liver fat content in NAFLD patients across multiple trials. The mechanism is multifaceted. EPA and DHA activate PPAR alpha, a nuclear receptor that increases the liver's fat burning capacity. They also reduce SREBP1C, the transcription factor that tells the liver to manufacture more fat. And they reduce TNF alpha and IL-6, the inflammatory cytokines most responsible for driving liver cell damage in NAFLD. Aim for 2 to 3 servings of oily fish per week. Sardines are particularly excellent because they are inexpensive, widely available, and contain very low mercury levels compared to larger fish. Canned sardines in olive oil or water are perfectly acceptable and retain most of their omega-3 content. If you do not eat fish, a high-quality fish oil supplement providing at least 2 grams of combined EPA and DHA daily has been shown in clinical trials to produce similar liver benefits. But whole food sources also provide additional nutrients, including selenium, vitamin D, and astaxanthin that enhance the liver protective effect. Food number 6 is turmeric, one of the most extensively studied spices in the world for liver health. The active compound in turmeric is curcumin, and its effects on the liver have now been studied in numerous randomized controlled trials. A 2019 study published in Phytotherapy Research found that curcumin supplementation over 8 weeks significantly reduced liver fat content, ALT, AST, and total cholesterol in NAFLD patients compared to placebo. Curcumin works primarily as a powerful activator of NRF2, the same antioxidant master switch activated by sulforaphane in broccoli, while simultaneously inhibiting NFKB, the primary inflammatory signaling pathway driving liver inflammation in NAFLD. It also directly inhibits stellate cell activation, the process by which liver inflammation progresses to fibrosis. The challenge with turmeric is bioavailability. Curcumin is poorly absorbed from the gut in its raw form. However, 2 simple strategies dramatically increase absorption. First, always combine turmeric with black pepper. The piperine in black pepper increases curcumin bioavailability by up to 2,000% by inhibiting the intestinal enzyme that breaks it down. Second, consume it with a fat-containing meal as curcumin is fat-soluble. Add 1 teaspoon of turmeric powder with a pinch of black pepper to soups, stews, scrambled eggs, or smoothies daily. Golden milk, warm milk with turmeric, black pepper, and a small amount of healthy fat is an excellent evening ritual for liver health. And here is food number 7, the one I told you would surprise you. Blueberries. Simple, affordable, widely available blueberries. The research on blueberries and liver health has accelerated dramatically in recent years, and the findings are genuinely remarkable. A study published in the World Journal of Gastroenterology found that blueberry supplementation for 24 weeks in patients with early NAFLD produced significant reductions in liver fat, liver stiffness, and inflammatory markers comparable in magnitude to some pharmaceutical interventions currently being studied. The active compounds responsible are anthocyanins, the pigments that give blueberries their deep blue-purple color. Anthocyanins are potent antioxidants that specifically accumulate in liver tissue after consumption. They have been shown to inhibit lipid peroxidation in liver cells, reduce hepatic fat synthesis, and promote autophagy, the cellular cleansing process that removes damaged fat deposits from liver cells. Blueberries also contain pterostilbene, a compound structurally related to resveratrol but significantly more bioavailable, which activates AMPK, an enzyme that acts like a metabolic master switch in the liver, increasing fat oxidation and decreasing fat synthesis. 1 cup of blueberries daily, fresh or frozen, as freezing preserves the anthocyanin content very well, is the target amount most research supports. Add them to yogurt, oatmeal, or smoothies, and say, or simply eat them as a snack. This is one of the most cost-effective liver interventions you can make. Food number 8 is garlic, that one of nature's most potent liver protectors, with research going back decades. A randomized controlled trial published in Advanced Biomedical Research gave NAFLD patients 800 milliliters of garlic powder daily for 15 weeks. The result was a significant reduction in body weight, liver fat on ultrasound, and both ALT and AST enzyme levels compared to placebo. The primary active compound is allicin, formed when garlic is crushed or chopped, and the enzyme alliinase converts alliin into allicin. Allicin has been shown to directly inhibit fat synthesis in liver cells, reduce oxidative stress, and inhibit the NFKB inflammatory pathway in hepatocytes. An important practical note, allicin is volatile and begins degrading within minutes of being formed. To maximize liver benefit, crush or finely chop your garlic and let it rest for 10 minutes before adding it to heat. This allows allicin to fully form before cooking, partially degrades it. Raw garlic delivers the highest dose, but even cooked garlic retains meaningful hepatoprotective activity through other sulfur compounds, including diallyl disulfide and S-allylcysteine. 2 to 3 cloves of garlic daily is the evidence-based target. Add it to olive oil dressings, stir it into cooked vegetables, or include it in soups and sauces. Food number 9 is green tea, and the research here is particularly impressive for a beverage that most people think of as simply a health habit rather than a therapeutic intervention. His systematic review and meta-analysis published in the International Journal of Food Sciences and Nutrition analyzed 15 clinical studies on green tea and liver health. The conclusion, regular green tea consumption significantly reduced ALT, AST, and total cholesterol in NAFLD patients, with the effect being dose-dependent up to around 4 cups per day. The primary active compounds are catechins, particularly EGCG, epigallocatechin galat, which is the most abundant and potent catechin in green tea. EGCG has been shown to inhibit fatty acid synthase, the enzyme directly responsible for manufacturing fat inside liver cells, while simultaneously activating fat oxidation pathways. Green tea catechins also demonstrate meaningful anti-fibrotic properties, with research showing they inhibit the activation of hepatic stellate cells, the cells responsible for producing scar tissue in the liver. 2 to 4 cups of high-quality green tea daily, consumed between meals rather than with meals, as the tannins in green tea can reduce iron absorption from food, is the optimal approach. Matcha, powdered whole green tea leaf, delivers significantly higher catechin concentrations than steeped tea and is an excellent option for maximum benefit. Food number 10 is avocado, and this one has a very specific mechanism that makes it uniquely valuable for liver health. A study from 2000 published in the Journal of Nutritional Biochemistry, one of the earliest to examine avocado and liver health specifically, found that avocado consumption significantly reduced liver damage markers compared to 22 other fruits tested in the same experiment. The effect was remarkable in its specificity. More recent research has identified the key compound, avocatin B, a fat molecule unique to avocados that has been shown in research from the University of Guelph to inhibit incomplete fat oxidation in liver cells. Incomplete fat oxidation is a key driver of insulin resistance and liver fat accumulation, so blocking this process directly addresses one of the root metabolic causes of NAFLD. Avocados are also rich in glutathione precursors, particularly the amino acid cysteine, which supports the liver's endogenous production of glutathione, its most powerful internal antioxidant. A liver under oxidative stress depletes glutathione rapidly. Avocado helps replenish it. 1/2 to 1 avocado daily is the target. Add it to salads, spread it on whole grain toast, blend it into smoothies, or eat it simply with a little lemon juice and olive oil. Now I need to spend 2 minutes on what to stop eating, because adding these 10 foods while continuing to eat the liver destroyers will limit your results significantly. Number 1 is fructose, specifically in the form of high fructose corn syrup found in sweetened beverages, sodas, fruit juices, and processed snacks. Unlike glucose, which is metabolized throughout the body, fructose is metabolized almost exclusively by the liver. When the liver receives more fructose than it can process, it converts the excess directly into fat, and that fat is stored inside liver cells. This is the single most direct dietary driver of NAFLD. Eliminating sweetened beverages alone has been shown to reduce liver fat meaningfully within weeks. Number 2 is refined seed oils, particularly soybean oil, corn oil, sunflower oil, and cottonseed oil, which are extremely high in omega-6 linoleic acid. An excessive omega-6 to omega-3 ratio, which is virtually universal in Western diets, drives chronic inflammatory signaling in the liver. Replace these with olive oil, avocado oil, and coconut oil for cooking. Number 3 is ultra-processed foods in general, not for any single ingredient, but because they combine refined carbohydrates, fructose, seed oils, emulsifiers, and artificial additives in combinations that collectively overwhelm the liver's processing capacity while providing essentially no protective nutrients. Let me give you a simple framework for incorporating all 10 of these foods into your weekly routine. Every morning, black coffee or green tea on waking. Breakfast can include blueberries over Greek yogurt or a turmeric and black pepper smoothie with avocado. Every lunch and dinner, build your plate around a half plate of cruciferous or leafy vegetables dressed with extra virgin olive oil and garlic. Include a serving of oily fish 2 to 3 times per week. Walnuts as your daily snack, and make garlic a non-negotiable addition to your evening cooking. This is not a restrictive diet. It is simply strategic addition, crowding out the damaging foods by filling your plate with the protective ones. The 10 foods we covered today are not exotic. Then they are not expensive. They are not hard to find. They are sitting in your local grocery store right now. A difference between someone whose fatty liver progresses to cirrhosis and someone who fully reverses the condition within 12 months often comes down to whether they knew this information and whether they acted on it. You now know it. Act on it. In my next video, I am going to cover something that affects even more people than fatty liver, the 10 warning signs that your blood sugar is dangerously high, and why most people with prediabetes do not find out until it has already been damaging their organs for years. Make sure you are subscribed so you do not miss that one. If this video helped you, please share it with someone who needs to hear it. And let me know in the comments, which of these 10 foods are you going to add to your diet first? I will reply to as many of you as I can. Here's Shai. See you in the next video.